I didn't grow up with cable TV, so I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every Saturday just to watch my favorite shows on CW4 Kids. Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, you name it, and my 8-year-old self was in. Well, in 2025, we're past that nostalgic time period, and kids these days don't need to worry about not having cable TV because they have YouTube Shorts and other streaming services. I was a 2000s kid, and while I loved playing with a DS and an iPod, part of me wished I was born in the 90s. The Game Boy is pretty cool, and that was when my favorite franchises were born. So here's the thing, we're less than a week away from Jump Festa 2025, where we're gonna learn what the next Yu-Gi-Oh anime has in store for us. Thing is, I'm actually really concerned about where we're going. To my understanding, the Konami studio that made that quarter-century anime trailer isn't able to make a full-on standalone anime series. And I totally respect that. I get it. I'm not expecting much from this Jump Festa 2025. Realistically, we're probably just gonna get a renewal of the Rush anime. But here's the reason I'm concerned. I can see my YouTube demographics. Most of you are ages 18 and 30. Yu-Gi-Oh just isn't a children's card game anymore. You can't tell me that Konami printed Snake Eye Ash or the entire Salamangreat archetype thinking that a child was actually gonna play them.
You can normal summon Gazelle and not use the effect, that's option 1. You can normal summon Gazelle and send spinning, probably what you want to do. Jaguar, that's very wrong, but you could theoretically do something. You could send Coyote.
Kids have Fortnite and TikTok. They're not sitting at a table with anime waifu play. That's all you, man. Instead of giving us a typical Yu-Gi-Oh anime featuring a shonen protagonist that's all about the power of friendship and saves the world from bad guys seeking status from children's trading cards, something we've seen a few too many times, there are a lot of other approaches Konami can take. Look at other successful franchises like Castlevania and League of Legends. They have well-received shows under their belts. Yu-Gi-Oh has tons of lore to draw on, and Konami really edged me with that quarter-century anime trailer. I get that the Konami studio doesn't have the resources to do it. They're just too small, I know. Sign a contract with a name brand studio. Give it to MAPPA! If we have a MAPPA Yu-Gi-Oh anime, let me tell you that will guaranteed be successful. We have Attack on Titan, Villain Saga, Chainsaw Man. We have so many MAPPA anime. We just need writers. Let's have our studio play a supporting role. That's totally fine. We've seen the animation that our studio can do. It looks good. If we give it to a name brand studio, Madhouse, MAPPA. MAPPA is such a big name in the anime space. Every anime they release, people get hyped for. If those people are getting hyped for a Yu-Gi-Oh anime, that's gonna pay dividends for the franchise as a whole. We need an actual anime with a real plot that caters to an adult audience. You know, the people actually playing the game or could possibly get into the game. As power creep has been ramping up, the game's complexity is a huge barrier to entry for a lot of people, not to mention kids. That's why Konami made Rush Duel and completely changed the rules to try to appeal to children. Most 8-year-olds don't want to learn the semantics behind an inherent special summon versus a special summon by an effect. Honestly, I didn't even know the difference at that age, and I barely understand how to play the game now. Yu-Gi-Oh isn't even an adult-friendly game. The only difference now is that I use my own credit card and cry about my financial status instead of being sad that my parents said no when I wanted to buy a structure deck. Magic the Gathering's player base is aging, and that's okay. They're changing their strategy by partnering with other major franchises like Lord of the Rings to get new players in. Alright, so I'm gonna go off script right now. All Yu-Gi-Oh series, okay? I'm actually curious to see how long we've had the Rush Duel series. Rush Duel is so undermarketed that it's not actually on Yu-Gi-Oh's website. Like, look at this. The last series it says is Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. When did Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 come out? April 6, 2014. The thing that's less successful about the Rush anime is that we don't even have the card game outside of Japan. The fact that kids can't even play the game that the kids show is marketing to them is crazy to me. It's just difficult, right? Like, I think Konami's just in this weird spot where they have this anime that's marketing cards that don't actually exist. It's like, what are they doing? And the majority of people that play Yu-Gi-Oh aren't even kids, so like, I don't understand. Anyway, that ran over. Let's go back to the script. The purpose of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime when we were growing up was to market the cards to us. It did that so apparently that 4Kids had to change the anime's card design when bringing the show to the US so that it looked less like the real life cards. Apparently you can't just make a 24-minute advertisement for your product on a kid's TV block. In any case, it works pretty well if you ask me, because for years I wanted to be possessed by an ancient spirit while recklessly driving a motorcycle and playing the card game. All that to say, a new anime should at least attempt to funnel the correct demographic of people into the game. What do all of us young and middle-aged adults want from a new Yu-Gi-Oh anime? Dark Magician Girl fan service.
What?
Just kidding. Sort of.
Bruh.
Anime is a huge part of Yu-Gi-Oh's identity. By leveraging that, I think there's a huge potential for a mainstream Yu-Gi-Oh resurgence. We don't need an anime with people playing the cards. I'd watch an anime about the Orchist and World Legacy archetype. There's so much rich story that has been displayed through the cards over the years, I really think there's something there. The children's anime successfully got us into the game when we were kids. Now that Yu-Gi-Oh isn't a children's card game anymore, we need a show that the average adult anime watcher can get into. We need a new piece of Yu-Gi-Oh media that's actually good and stands on its own feet in the mainstream media without the card game and blue eyes shoved down our throats. Not just some marketing stunt, but some passion and love into a new story in the Yu-Gi-Oh universe. I'm tired of seeing the same 3 Yu-Gi-Oh memes from 20 years ago. This shit's getting old. If we don't have an anime and other media surrounding the franchise, we're missing a major part of Yu-Gi-Oh's identity, and we're just left with a card game that each year gets less recognizable from what we grew up with. Konami tried to bring the old gameplay back with Speed Duel, but that failed horribly. Click the video here if you want to learn more about that. If you'd like to support the channel, you could do so by clicking the first link in the description. Going into this next year, I'd like to improve these videos for you and get them out on a more regular basis. Lastly, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one.